The snow fell in thick, silent curtains that Christmas Eve, blanketing the city in white. Marcus Wellington sat alone at the bus shelter on Fifth Avenue, his $1,000 coat doing little to warm the chill that had settled in his bones. At 73, he'd buried his wife 6 months ago, and his children, scattered across 3 continents, had all sent expensive gifts and apologetic video messages explaining why they couldn't make it home for Christmas. He didn't need another watch. He needed someone to share the time with. The shelter's fluorescent light flickered weakly, casting strange shadows on the boy who sat at the far end of the bench. He looked about 8, bundled in a jacket 2 sizes too big, his sneakers worn thin at the soles. His hands were red from the cold, and he clutched a small backpack against his chest like it contained something precious. "Waiting for the bus?" Marcus asked, more to fill the silence than anything else. The boy shook his head. "Just sitting. It's warm here." Marcus studied him more carefully now. No adult in sight, no phone clutched in small hands, just a child, alone, on Christmas Eve. "Where are your parents?" "Mom's working. Double shift at the diner on Lexington." The boy's voice was matter-of-fact, carrying a weariness that didn't belong to childhood. "She won't be home until morning." "And your father?" "Gone." One word, simple and final. They sat in silence for a moment, watching the occasional car slide past on the snow-slicked street. The city, usually so loud and frantic, had grown hushed, as if holding its breath. "I'm Tommy," the boy offered suddenly. "Tommy Rivera. Marcus Wellington." Tommy's eyes widened slightly. "Like Wellington Industries? The building downtown with your name on it?" Marcus nodded slowly, surprised the boy knew. "That's right, Mom used to clean offices there, before she got the diner job." Tommy hugged his backpack tighter. "She said you gave good Christmas bonuses." The words stung. More than Marcus expected. He'd signed those bonus checks without thought, numbers on paper, never considering the lives they touched. "Your mother doesn't work there anymore?" "Budget cuts. That's what her supervisor said." Tommy shrugged, trying to appear unbothered, but Marcus saw the tremble in his lip. "It's okay, though. She's tougher than anyone." "I'm sure she is." Marcus paused. "So why aren't you home? Even if she's working, surely." "Heat got shut off yesterday." Tommy said it quietly, almost ashamed. "Mom said it's just for a few days, until she gets paid Friday. But it's really cold in the apartment, and the shelter downtown was full. She told me to ride the buses, stay warm, stay safe. So I'm doing that. Sort of." Marcus felt something crack inside his chest. Here he was with 3 empty houses and more money than he could spend in 5 lifetimes. And this child was spending Christmas Eve in a bus shelter. "Mom said Santa forgot us again this year," Tommy continued, his voice smaller now. He unzipped his backpack and pulled out a battered thermos. "But she made me hot chocolate before she left. Said that was better than any present." He unscrewed the cap, and steam rose into the cold air. "Want some? It's still warm." Marcus stared at the offered thermos, at this boy's willingness to share the little he had, and felt tears prick his eyes for the first time since Sarah's funeral. "I'd be honored," he whispered. Tommy poured some into the cap, and they shared the sweet, watery chocolate in comfortable silence. It was the best thing Marcus had tasted in months. "You know," Marcus said finally, "I think Santa might have just been running late this year. Gotten mixed up with his schedule." Tommy gave him a look that was far too knowing for 8 years old. "Mister, I stopped believing in Santa when I was 6, right after Dad left and Mom started crying when she thought I was asleep." "Then believe in something else," Marcus said, his mind racing. "Believe in the kindness of strangers, in second chances, in the fact that sometimes when 2 people meet at exactly the right moment, they can help each other in ways they never expected." Tommy tilted his head, curious. Marcus pulled out his phone. "What's your address, Tommy?" 20 minutes later, Marcus's personal assistant, roused from her own Christmas celebration with promises of a generous bonus, had arranged for the gas company to restore service to the Rivera apartment. A grocery delivery service was sending 2 weeks' worth of food, and Marcus had made 3 more calls that would change everything. "Tommy, how would your mother feel about her old job back? With a raise, full benefits, and guaranteed hours?" The boy's eyes went wide, Really? You can do that? I own the company. I should have been paying more attention all along. Marcus felt lighter than he had in months, purpose flooding back into his veins. And there's something else. I have a very large house in Connecticut. Too large for one person. I'm looking for a property manager, someone to maintain it, live there, make sure it doesn't fall apart. Your mother would be perfect. Good salary, free housing, and the schools there are excellent. Tommy's thermos cap slipped from his fingers, hot chocolate spilling onto the snow where it melted through, leaving a dark stain. Why? He whispered. Why would you do all this? Marcus reached out and steadied the boy's shaking hands. Because tonight, a very wise young man shared his hot chocolate with a lonely old fool and reminded him what Christmas is actually about. Not the gifts or the decorations or the expensive dinners. It's about noticing each other, helping each other, being less alone in a world that can be terribly cold. Mom always says that, Tommy said, tears streaming down his face now. She says we have to be each other's angels because we can't afford the real kind. Your mother, Marcus said softly, is the real kind. A bus pulled up, its doors hissing open. Neither of them moved. Come on, Marcus said, standing and offering his hand. Let's go tell your mother that Santa didn't forget. He just took a different route this year. Tommy grabbed his hand, and together they walked into the snowy night. Behind them, the empty bus shelter stood silent, having witnessed a small miracle, the kind that happens when one person chooses to see another, really see them, and decides to do something about it. Later, when Marcus finally made it home to his empty penthouse at dawn, he found himself smiling. Tomorrow, he'd start making real changes at his company. But tonight, he'd helped one family find warmth. And in doing so, he'd found his own.